Yeah, we're talking about this. We are talking about this. Like, this is MVP shit. This is MVP shit. Like 26 points, 9.5 assists over the last 11 games. Angel Wilson won an MVP for doing this last year. Angel Wilson won an MVP because of 16 games last year. She did. She was not top 5 last year. With 16 games to go in the season, the MVP race was Fee Collier 1, Alicia Gray 2, Stewie was probably in and around her, but she was kind of injured at that time. Obviously Paige wasn't in that. Alyssa Thomas was ahead of her in the MVP race. With 16 games to go, Angel Wilson was clinging on to top 5 in the MVP race. She was second in the league in scoring. She was not leading the league in block shots as far as I'm aware. Everything. But now we are seeing what Caitlin Clark is doing in almost in the same way. Where she has been the best player in the world. She has been the best player in the world since they voted her as the 11th best guard. From the day they voted Caitlin Clark the 11th best guard in the WNBA, she has been the best player in the world. And, there's no other way to say it. There is no other way to say it. This was a performance for the ages from Caitlin Clark. This really was a performance for the ages. And she is going through one of the best, other than the aces free throw misses, she has had a near perfect last 11 games. And what? The Fever are 9-2 or something? The last time the Fever, I know there's the whole thing about, you can't, the Fever don't do well against playoff teams. When was the last time the Fever, if you look at every team in the playoffs, the Fever have won their last 3 games against playoff teams. The Fever have lost by double digits this year. They have lost to the Valkyries once. They lost to the Valkyries by 2 and then by 10, I think. So, and they beat the Valkyries by a decent amount. They lost to the Aces in OT. They lost to Vegas by double digits. Since the start of June, they've lost, 2 games to playoff teams by double digits? That's an insane record. The Indiana Fever, I think, are 9-2 in their last 11 in this run. They lost, and their 2 losses were against Minnesota and Vegas by 5 points in overtime. Caitlin Clark is at worst top 3 in the league. And if you want to make the case that, winning matters and seeding matters for Caitlin Clark's MVP voting, I hear you. Seeding always matters. Maybe not in this league, but it should matter. It should matter how well you are doing as a team. It should. And if the Fever are in 4th place and the Lynx are in 1st, you will not hear me argue Caitlin Clark over Olivia Miles. Albeit, statistical outlier seasons, like the one Caitlin Clark is currently having as a 4th seed, have been rewarded with MVPs. See Angel Wilson, 2024, unanimously. But most of the time, okay. If the Indiana Fever catch the Las Vegas Aces and Angel wins MVP, if the Fever catch the Aces, there is no way. You should not be. She's not playing well enough to be MVP in a 4th seed. If the Fever catch the Aces, there's a half a game difference between those 2 teams. A half a game. And Indiana holds a tiebreaker. Let's not forget. And Indiana had 2 games against Minnesota, who already could be home and dry as the 1st seed. If Angel Wilson wins the MVP from the 4th seed, Caitlin's never winning MVP. She's just straight up never winning MVP. Again, she is having, and people are 11, it's only 11 games. That's a quarter of the season. That's a 20-game stretch in the NBA. That's like what Luka was doing before he got injured last year. It's like what Luka was doing. It is one of those things where she has been the best player in the world over 11 games. And I don't really see how you can argue her. Like, if she doesn't make the All-W first team, which I have a weird feeling she won't, you're then going to start to see a big change in how everything's done. If she, like, Caitlin Clark's MVP voting could actually force the WNBA to start making votes public. Genuinely could make them start making votes publicly. That is one of those things that it is so egregious that if they decide that they're going to rob her of an All-W first team spot, and honestly, a couple of first place MVP votes, because she's earned a couple of first place MVP votes, if she gets robbed of that, it might mean that the voters have to start voting publicly again. Because let's be real, every single All-Star vote that had public had Caitlin Clark. Not every All-Star vote media had public had Paige Bueckers. Caitlin Clark ends up third in the media vote. So there's a lot of media people behind the scenes that are that won't vote Caitlin. But at least it's one of those things where if she doesn't make the All-W first team after having the greatest season of all time for a point guard, then at least it's going to change how the voting is done and everyone's votes are going to be public. Like, it's going to be as simple as that. It is going to be as simple as that. If she comes third in MVP and they finish as the fourth seed, so be it. If they finish as the third seed, there is no excuse for her to be behind Angel Wilson because she has been statistically better than Angel Wilson and is a higher seed. There's no excuse for that. But if they want to go give it to Olivia Miles over her for being the first seed by a mile, I'm not going to argue. I'm really not going to argue that. That being said, again, we're now in a conversation where we're now at a point where if she's not in the conversation, that is a you problem and not a Caitlin Clark problem. If she is not in the MVP conversation right now, there's nothing she can do because she's playing good defense. She's, again, shooting near 50-40, 50-40-90. Today, people are laughing, being like, 3 of 10 from 3, that's pathetic. And I'm like, 30% in one game. What are we talking about? That's better than what Sabrina and Marina Mabrey shot last year. It's like, oh yeah, if one of her in and out shots went in, it would have been a super efficient game, but because it wasn't, it was a terrible game. Like, I get it. Every goalpost is going to move. The Fever could win a ring this year and they'll move the goalpost. We get it. But at some stage, moving the goalpost, you're going to have to stop moving the goalpost because you're witnessing the start of what very well could be the greatest guard in the history of the WNBA. And peak for peak. She's not going to have the length of the career Taurasi. She's not playing 22 seasons, but could have a better peak than Taurasi.